Hi, this is Simon from Fingers on Plastic, and today I am going to be talking about Transformers Battlegrounds. It's actually going to be a lot harder to discuss than I thought it was going to be. I've got notes and everything, and quite a few notes. So let's get to it. Graphics. This is a budget game, and the graphics are comparable to like a high-end mobile telephone game, if we're going to be bluntly honest about it. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's there, it's alright, it's there. Could be better, but could be a lot worse. So, middle of the road, we have to go middle of the road with graphics. The aesthetic does suit the fact that it's set in the cyberverse. So, 6 of 1, half a dozen of the other. If you're looking for a technical masterpiece though, there's the door. And there's one behind me. And there's a big window over there you can jump through, because the music's quite generic background music, just trolling on. Again, it's middle road, that bad boy. Voice acting is directly from the cartoon. So it's the same as the cartoon, which is my problem. It means that the guy that voices Optimus is the same guy that voices Optimus in the Netflix series, and I think I've made it fairly clear how I feel about that. And I feel like I'm ragging on the guy. I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. I just don't like him as Optimus.
I am Optimus Prime.
The story now, so it's 20 levels. So there's Act 1, 2, 3 and 4 with 4, 5, 6 and 5 levels apiece. And it's really quite funny. So for the type of game it is, it feels both long and short. Basically, there are only 3 types of level. One of the level is that, get from point A to point B without dying. That's one. And then there is a kill everything on the map level, 2. And then there's a survive for a set amount of turns. And every single level, every single of those missions, bar the very last one, is a is one of those 3 elements. So, but if you think about games like XCOM, and this is like a kid's version of XCOM, it's building up to like the XCOM level, and there's an interesting difficulty curve. And I have to admit, I knocked it down to easy, not because I was struggling, but it got to the point where I just kind of wanted to get through it, which is not a great thing. But the story's all right. It feels like the story could be, from the show. I've watched the whole 2 episodes, and it feels like it could just be like a movie from the show. It fits into that show. So in that aspect, it does a good job. But when you're doing the same 3 levels over and over and over again, it does. I played, like I mentioned, Mutant, Year Zero, Road to Eden, Wasteland 3, XCOM 2, and these games do the same sort of thing, but it feels different. You can feel the variation. Whereas in Battlegrounds, you don't feel much variation, so you're very aware that whatever you've done, whatever you're doing at that moment, you've just done, or you did it 3 levels ago. Autobots, there are 6 playable Autobots for the campaign. They'll be on the screen now. It's Optimus, Wheeljack, Grimlock, RC, Windblade and Bumblebee. Go memory, not even in my notes. And at the end of each level, you get like spark points, and you can use those spark points to go to Wheeljack's lab between levels and upgrade your character so you can get like extra bombs for Windblade, or you can get a big honking stomp from Grimlock, that sort of thing. So each of them upgrades throughout the levels. And that's sort of basically the campaign. It's those 3 levels. You only ever play as 3 at any given time. You get to the last level, and all of a sudden it lets you play with all 6. And you think, I remember thinking, why couldn't I play with all 6 before? As you unlock them, you know, throw more. It's not like it's going to be using much of the process or anything like that. Give us more. And at the end, that very last level, it's like, I've got all 6. And it's pretty cool when you've got all 6, because you can dot them in places and get them ready to shoot and whatever. And I was quite happy with that level. And then the campaign sort of finishes. There were 2 moments that was actually kind of annoying. A little bit spoilery, but basically there's Bumblebee could have made life a lot easier for him, but he chooses not to execute or kill. I mean, they have a knockout, drag-out fight, and I think it is morally okay in war to, you know what, he's just going to cause trouble again. Let's sort that out now. And then Optimus does exactly the same thing at the end with Megatron. You just think, and Megatron's there going, I'm going to come back and kill you, or try to, and I'm not going to stop until I rule Cybertron and destroy Earth. You know, I'm going to keep going. And Optimus Prime's basically like, yeah, go on then. And you think, come on, Optimus. So when you're done with the campaign, which, well, I did it over the course of 2 days. I did some on Saturday and finished it on Sunday, as well as doing chores and things. Not many chores, I forgot to do a few things. So it's not that long. But you get arcade mode. And this is where disappointment seeps in a little bit. So arcade mode is local only. There's no online multiplayer. So that's the first sort of pinch. And the second is there's only one mode where you can play as Decepticons. It's like, what was it called? It'll be on the screen now. Decepticons Revenge or Decepticons Do Something. But you play as 4 Decepticons, again a choice of 6, against 2 Autobots. And it makes no sense. What would be really cool that's not in the game is Team Deathmatch, 6 Autobots, 6 Decepticons, pick which team you want to be, annihilate the other. If they'd have done that, that would have been great. It needs that, but it's not in there. And the arcade levels are set on levels from the campaign where you have to either protect an energon thing, kill everybody, or whatever we've been through already. So there's so many missed opportunities. One thing they could do to it to really, what would pull in some adults is obviously they have skins. So I think reskin it all as Siege, Netflix, the Siege series. Give it a nice reskin, and that would make it a bit more gritty. On hard level, lots more adults would play that because there's not enough in the game to sustain an adult playing it, and I can't see kids doing it again and again and again. So they've shot themselves a little bit in the foot by sort of choosing the wrong market to go to. It is like a beginner's guide to XCOM. It's a starting place for those proper games, but it never really gets out of that gear. And by the end of it, you're just like, I'm kind of bored of going from here to here, or trying not to die for so many turns. The achievements are quite fun. A couple of things to do in story mode and complete it on easy, hard. But there's not. I would have liked one of those achievements that make you do something unusual, and there's not really any of that. Apart from there's one where you've got to throw a bad guy on a Thursday as Optimus Prime. So everything is very middle of the road. But no, they could really turn it around if they did that team deathmatch. 6 Autobots, 6 Decepticons, choose which side, object, wipe the other team out. That would be awesome. I'm going to tweet the guy that did the narrative and say, can you do this? I've just thought that right now, so I'm going to do that. Scoring. What would I give it? See, on one hand, because of its target audience and everything it does, it succeeds. But then there's the myriad of problems. Bugs-wise, I have to say, I only had one problem throughout the entire game, where it didn't load a cutscene after a level, and I had to switch it off and switch it on again. Which, although inexcusable, in today's age, it's alright really, it worked, you know. I purchased the game and it didn't die, so that was good. So what would I give it as a score? It's funny, in my notes it's got the score and it's just got the slash out of 10. It didn't, and I was struggling. 6.5. 6.5 out of 10. Which doesn't sound much, but it's, you know, if you think about it, I'd give McDonald's a 6.5 out of 10, because McDonald's is always quite steady, but it's not mind-blowing, but it's not bad. It's not great. It's a McDonald's game. You either like it or you're not going to, but it's, don't go in expecting something special. And it's alright, you'll get through it. I can't, because of the way they've done the arcade mode, there isn't that much replayability, because they've not tied any achievements to it either. So even the achievement hunters that will go through it will only need to go through the campaign and not really bother with the arcade mode. So again, they've swung and missed a little bit there. And there are so many opportunities. I mean, if you think about an XCOM type game in the Transformers universe, yes! I mean, I want another, and I've made no secret that I want another Fall of Cybertron, because I thought that game was the best Transformers game, and I still think that's... But I like the idea of this. And, you know, if they'd have executed it more towards adults. But I'm going to guess that the mandate came down from Hasbro that says, you guys can have this license. This is how much money you've got. This is your budget, which is wee! And we want you to set it in the Cyberverse universe, please, and make it for kids. I would imagine that they were told to do these things. I would be surprised if they chose that path. So you can't really hold it against them. And it's nice to play a Transformers game on a console again. So 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's everything. Let me check my notes. Playable characters, Wheeljack's Lab, graphics, a couple of annoying moments. Oh, yeah, so there was one thing I missed. There are a couple of Easter eggs for those people out there. It's like, there's a level, I'm not going to name them all, but there's like a level called Megatron's Master Plan. And I was like, that's cool. So there's a few things peppered in there for the old guys. Like me. But yeah. 6.5 out of 10. It's alright. You know, my initial negative view of it when it was announced and we had that thing, I was wrong. But it's still not a masterpiece. If they did a Transformers Battlegrounds 2 and upped the ante, you know, set it in maybe the Prime Universe. No, they won't set it in the Prime Universe. That's my pipe dream. But fine, set it in. Although if you did it in the Prime Universe, you could have Veercons all over the place. It'd make a lot of sense. Just saying. Set it in the Netflix Siege universe. Give us a few more levels, a bit more variation. That would be awesome. Something to aim for. But that is it from me. Thank you very much. And then you get to the last level and you have all 6 of the Autobots that you're You get to the last level and all of a sudden it lets you play with all 6.
Fingers on plastic.